Today I'm going to give you takeaways and analysis for the AP Top 25 for Week 7 and all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And today I'm going to give you analysis and takeaways for Week 7 of the AP Top 25. The first thing that we got to talk about is number 1, Alabama stayed number 1 after its bye week, which, fine. Okay, whatever. You moved them up to number 1 after Clemson beat North Carolina by a point, and you're going to leave them there because apparently, unlike Oklahoma, Alabama can do no wrong. And I know that's kind of a shot across the bow, but I also understand that Alabama's run defense is going to get tested by Texas A&M. They got to go to Kyle Field for that game. I hope that it's worth our while, but again, you start 4 freshmen in the front 7 on defense. We'll see what that means. Yes, I know Alabama has been historically awesome on offense, but take a look at what Oklahoma did against Kansas, and you'll get what I think about that. Now, number 2, Clemson. Okay, cool. Again, in a bye week, they're number 2. They were number 2 last week. They didn't do much, obviously. They're getting ready to take on a Florida State team that doesn't really have an identity in a year where we got kids setting up lemonade stands to try to get the buyout for Willie Taggart. Kendall Briles' offense is not actually working yet, but I think it could, but I don't think it's going to do anything against this Clemson team. Even as somebody thinks that Clemson's going to take a loss this year, I just don't see it. At number 3, Georgia is tied with Ohio State, and I don't understand this. I get that Ohio State took care of Michigan State. I also get that Georgia put up 43 on Tennessee. And maybe you just want to make Ohio State that much better because you're looking at their schedule and you're looking at the resume, but you can only play who's there. And I think that Ohio State and Georgia would make for a good game, but like tied at number 3, I don't get it. Fine, whatever. There's a lot of voters that seem to want Ohio State to be ranked above Georgia, but okay, let's just make it through the rest of the season and see what happens. Number 5, because there's a tie, it's LSU as they get ready to go and take on Florida Gators at home in Death Valley. That is going to be an outstanding game. 2 undefeated SEC teams. I think most folks are picking LSU to win this game, but if you look at my picks this week, anything can happen. Anything usually does. Kyle Trask is going to get his first true road test of the season of his career against a stout LSU defense that is led by Derek Stingley, Christian Fulton, Grant Delpit on defense. They are absolutely amazing. Joe Burrow, 38 passing touchdowns, which puts him 4th all time among LSU passers, which is ridiculous when you think about it, but that's what it is. At number 6, we got Oklahoma, who beat Kansas. Fine. You have to play Kansas because they're on the schedule, but they get their first and really only real top 25 test to date against Texas in the Red River rivalry. That's going to be a game of the week. I'm excited about that. Number 7, Florida, again, undefeated. They're in the spot that Auburn was in last week, where now we don't really trust you as an undefeated team, but you would win a lot of respect with a really good win against LSU in a year where LSU is going to compete for a college football playoff if they beat Florida and beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa. You're going to have a hard time keeping them out. Ed Orgeron squad is humming right along. See the Utah State game. At number 8, we got Wisconsin, who beat the hell out of Kent State. Kent State, man, you played Auburn, you played Wisconsin. Y'all got a pretty tough schedule. That said, Jonathan Taylor has been awesome. He's setting records. He's passing Melvin Gordon. He went for nearly 10 yards per carry against Kent State. Wisconsin's going to get a first real test against Ohio State in a couple of weeks. I'm fine with this. Number 9, Notre Dame, who you played. Okay, you played Georgia. You took a loss. Somehow you're still in the top 10 with New Mexico and Bowling Green State on your schedule. You get USC. We'll see. At number 10, we got Penn State. Penn State is now in this position of being the team that we trust the least among the unbeatens in the Power 5, but I get that if you think that Penn State has something going on with the running back by committee, particularly because I think that Noah Cain has an opportunity to be a really outstanding running back, even as Journey Brown is more or less leading and toting the rock. Sean Clifford has shown he can actually manage the game and be pretty doggone good. We'll see what that means as they continue through their Big Ten East schedule. And then Texas at number 11. That's nearly a top 10 matchup for Oklahoma and Texas. And had they beaten LSU, we're talking about game day in Dallas for sure. As it is, Sam Ehlinger is going to lead an offense that has found an identity even without its full assortment of running backs. Malcolm Epps coming on, Brennan Eagles coming on. Also, Devin Duvernay has been just delightful. Jake Smith is awesome. They got 4 interceptions from a defense that is banged up and anything but full strength. I was really impressed by Deshaun Jameson and particularly by B.J. Foster, Anthony Cook. I think that with Joseph Asai in the middle, you have an opportunity to really challenge and push Oklahoma, though I think, like most people, I'm going to pick Oklahoma to win that game. Number 12, Auburn is going to keep sliding. Their schedule only gets more difficult. Bo Nix got exposed like 35mm film. The folks that want Gus Malzahn out have more ammo. They're only going to get more ammo with their really ridiculously hard schedule to come. Oregon at number 13, they held Cal to single digits. They've held 4 straight opponents to single digits. The first time that that's happened since 1960. But until you beat a top 25 team, we're not going to be able to take you seriously. And that loss to Auburn is only going to look worse as the season goes on. And then at number 14, we got Boise State, which still ain't one. I understand that they play in the Mountain West, and they're probably going to be your group of 6 representative. But it's still Boise State, and it's going to be tough for them to get past perhaps even number 8 by December when we're talking about the rankings. Utah at number 15, coming off a bye week. They get to go and try to do something in the Pac-12 South. Right now, it feels like it's Arizona State's, and that Arizona State game is looking really, really good and delicious right now because sneakily, Arizona's only got 1 loss, and Arizona State just continues to turn out these really workmanlike wins. They're taking on Herm Edwards' personality, and it's working for them. Michigan at number 16, the worst football game that was on this weekend. There were more punts in that game against Iowa than there were points scored, but you know what? Jim Harbaugh needed a win. He needed a win against a top 25 opponent, and he got one in Iowa at home. Their schedule only gets tougher. They still got Notre Dame, Ohio State on it. We'll see if they can even stick in the top 25. Number 17, Iowa. Again, we'll see. They still got the rest of their schedule to play, and we figured out they just can't trust Nate Stanley to actually keep them in the game. He's just going to throw picks. Arizona State at 18, I mentioned them a little bit earlier, but they could come out of the Pac-12 South. They could get in the Pac-12 championship. They could be the Pac-12 champ. Could be the rep in the Rose Bowl, but nobody expects them to really push for anything more than that. Wake Forest at 19, I just don't know, right? Because Jamie Newman looks like Cam Newton if Cam Newton couldn't actually throw accurately in college. And then you go down to Boston College and you look like you might have got beat, but you squeak out with a win. I don't know what Dave Clawson's squad is going to be or what it could be. I just know that they're going to have an opportunity to show that later on in the year against Clemson. Number 20, Virginia. You get Miami this week. And I don't really know what to make of Virginia either because they look like they're going to be pretty good defensively. And then Bryce Perkins looks like he's going to fumble the ball every time he takes a snap. So we'll just have to wait and see what Bronco Mendenhall's squad looks like. SMU at number 21. They are undefeated for the first time since 1982, 6-0. Man, I watched every bit of that Southern Methodist TU game, and I got to tell you, both teams threw up over themselves, and SMU managed to get a win in this 3-overtime thriller because TU actually doesn't have a kicker. You got a walk-on kicker at the University of Tulsa. No wonder you lost this game with every opportunity to win it, being up 3 touchdowns in the second half of the game, and you can't close. That's on you. SMU, good on you. Number 22, Baylor. So Baylor and SMU are undefeated. Texas Christian is not. Maybe Texas Christian shared knowledge that's seeing their name just a little bit more often. But Baylor has been legit. And Baylor is actually quite surprisingly balanced. Offensively, defensively, they look the part. We'll see if they can keep that up for the rest of their schedule. Memphis at 23 feels like they could also be your group of 5 representative. They've just been mauling people. They understand who they are. They play defense. They run the ball. And they have an opportunity to win the American. And win the American, they can make it into not just the New Year's Six Bowl, but if things break correctly, they could be into the college football playoff. Well, we'll see. 24, Texas A&M on the strength of what their schedule is and what it could be. But if you're day trading stock, I start unloading all this A&M stock because they got Alabama this weekend in Kyle Field, and nobody expects them to win that. Cincinnati vaults into the top 25 based on its win against number 18 Central Florida, who is now a shambles and looking every bit like Josh Heupel is coaching them and not Scott Frost. And you're understanding that Dylan Gabriel did not have a great game, but a lot of that is Cincy's defense. And if you're not up on Marcus Freeman, you should be. Coordinator at to Cincinnati, he's going to be next in line for not just a good Power 5 job, or even perhaps a mid-major college football head coaching job. I like Marcus Freeman. He looks the part. His boys play fast, they play smart, and they play on time. I think the big winners out of all of this, I have to be Florida, because they look the best, beating up on an undefeated team that was ranked inside the top 10. I really like what LSU has been and what they're going to be. And I understand that we still have lots to go on in this season. Heading into week 6, you had 18 undefeated teams. That number has dwindled and is only going to get smaller throughout the month of October, as unranked teams are going to continue to be some ranked teams. All right, that's it for me. Doses.